Imagine walking past someone on the street, a man who seems charming, intelligent, and polite. He could be your friend, your classmate, or even your neighbor. You trust him because he seems harmless, maybe even someone you'd invite into your home. But what if you found out that this man, who seems so normal, is actually hiding one of the darkest secrets in history? A secret so chilling that it would change everything you thought you knew about the world around you. This is the horrifying truth about Ted Bundy, one of the most infamous serial killers in American history. Ted Bundy was born on November 24, 1946, in Burlington, Vermont. Growing up, he appeared to lead a relatively normal life. But beneath the surface, a darkness was beginning to take shape. Bundy was intelligent, polite, and well-educated, traits that helped him blend in and gain the trust of those around him. He attended law school, was involved in politics, and had the charisma that made him seem like a perfect, respectable member of society. But this image was just a mask, a carefully constructed persona that concealed his horrifying true nature. Bundy's first known crimes began in the mid-1970s. His victims were usually young, attractive women with long hair parted in the middle, his specific type. What made his crimes so chilling wasn't just the brutal murders, but the way he lured his victims in. Bundy would often pretend to be injured, asking for help with his car or pretending to have a broken arm. In some cases, he'd even fake being incapacitated to gain the trust of his victims. Once they helped him, that's when his true intentions would unfold. It's difficult to fathom how he managed to deceive so many. Bundy was a master manipulator, using charm and a sense of false vulnerability to lure women into his grasp. His crimes weren't just isolated events, they were part of a calculated pattern, and they stretched across several states. The first confirmed kidnapping happened in 1974, when a young woman named Carol Darrench was abducted in Utah. Luckily, she survived and became one of the key witnesses in Bundy's eventual capture. But it didn't stop there. As the year went on, Bundy's crimes escalated, with more and more women disappearing under mysterious circumstances. Each time a young woman went missing, Bundy grew bolder. By 1975, the authorities were starting to suspect that the cases were connected, but it wasn't until Bundy was arrested for kidnapping that the full scope of his crimes started to unravel. When he was caught, he was only charged with kidnapping. But once the police began investigating further, they discovered evidence linking him to multiple murders, and they began to piece together his shocking pattern of violence. In 1978, Bundy struck again at the Chi Omega sorority house in Florida. This was one of the most gruesome and public attacks, where he broke into the sorority house, brutally attacking and killing 2 women while injuring 2 others. This incident made national headlines and finally brought Bundy the widespread attention he had long avoided. His calm, calculated demeanor in the face of such violence was both shocking and terrifying. Bundy's trial became one of the first major criminal cases to be broadcast live on television, giving the world a front-row seat to the drama. Bundy, ever the manipulator, chose to represent himself in court, using his charisma and cunning to try to manipulate the legal system. But despite his efforts, the overwhelming evidence against him was undeniable. His own admissions, the physical evidence, and the testimonies of his surviving victims were more than enough to convict him. In 1989, Bundy was sentenced to death, and after years of appeals and delay tactics, his execution was carried out by electric chair at Florida State Prison. But even after his death, Bundy's name lived on in public consciousness, not just because of his crimes, but because of the chilling way he was able to deceive, manipulate, and evade capture for so long. Ted Bundy's story continues to captivate the public, but it's not just because of the brutality of his crimes. It's because of the way he was able to manipulate those around him, the way he convinced people he was someone he wasn't. He wasn't just a criminal, he was a figure who shattered society's sense of trust and security. Books, documentaries, and movies have been made about Bundy, each one trying to understand what drove him to commit such horrific acts. But despite all the discussions, the biggest question remains: how did someone like Ted Bundy manage to evade capture for so long? How did a man who seemed so normal, so charming, so well-educated, turn into one of the most terrifying criminals the world had ever seen? Bundy's story is a chilling reminder of how evil can often hide in plain sight. He didn't just murder, he destroyed the illusion of safety that people once had. His ability to blend in with society, to gain people's trust, and to commit his crimes without suspicion makes his story one of the most haunting in criminal history. Ted Bundy's story isn't just about a man who committed horrifying crimes. It's about how a monster can hide behind a mask of normalcy and manipulate those around him into believing he is someone he's not. His chilling ability to evade justice for so long, to appear as a charming, handsome young man while being a cold-blooded killer, is a nightmare that still haunts us today. If you were shocked by the depth of Bundy's story, there's still so much more to uncover. Join us as we continue to explore the chilling truths behind history's most notorious criminals. Don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss the next part of this spine-chilling series. There's more to come, and you won't want to miss it.